Lacey, hey, congratulations on your new film, Maintenance Required.
Thank you, Gig. It's so great to meet you.
It's great to meet you too, and it's such a wonderful film that you actually made. But, like at the start of every interview, we always have to ask where the original idea came from for you with Maintenance Required.
Am a former journalist, and 8 years ago, I did a short documentary on an all-female auto shop in Philly, and that story always really stuck with me. And yeah, last year I just had the idea of You Got Mail, but with the inspiration from these women that I met in Philadelphia, and the rest is history.
I was going to ask you. It's actually amazing that you actually made the protagonist as a female mechanic because we don't usually see many of those in that industry. I mean, granted, my mechanic is also female, but
Oh, I love that.
she knows everything about cars. I do have to admit.
It was really exciting to build this world, and this is my first narrative feature, but I am a documentarian and journalist first, and yeah, my beat has always been empowering stories about women. So it was really exciting to kind of put that into this more commercial film.
Now, it's interesting that your first narrative feature is going to be a romantic comedy because romance is it's one thing to make. A comedy is even harder to make, but combining those two as a romantic comedy, tell us about crafting and going into that subgenre itself.
Yeah, I'm such a fan of the 90s and early aughts rom-coms, and I miss them. I want more of them. And, honestly, it is a formula. It's a lot like horror films. There's kind of this formulaic way to beat out your story if you're doing a romantic comedy. So I'm not going to say it was easy, but a lot of the structure was already there, and really taking inspiration from those women and then other films that I love, like You Got Mail. It was fun to put this together.
Now, you already mentioned you got mail a couple of times already.
You
Tell
can't
us
not.
about. I was gonna say, I mean, what about that film that so inspired you to to help you craft the basic idea for maintenance required?
Yeah, I think that the film just it's so iconic, and anybody watching content right now knows that we're inundated with remakes and like things that are trying to take a refresh on beloved classics. And yeah, I mean, You Got Mail is so wonderful, but just the thought of hearing that AOL doo 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 when you sign in, it's like that is vintage. That's vintage now. That is so long ago, right? And I think that putting a new spin on it, what it would be like to have an online romance today. I love Reddit. I love Reddit forums, and I just thought that it would be a new way to look at a story like that, like people that are anonymous online, but still, we're living in a very, in-person real world economy. So yeah, it was just taking, yeah, the basic inspiration from You Got Mail, but throwing in a lot of fresh takes.
I was gonna say that is the fresh take, the fresh outlook is that we are in that digital age and that's how a lot of people do meet online now these days.
Right, which was actually a little bit of a barrier. Like, I've even seen in comments and reviews that it's unlikely that they wouldn't be able to figure out who the other person was. But I think that there is still a world where like two people on a Reddit thread can to decide for whatever reasons. I'm a girl and I'm not looking to get involved romantically or to have you know what I mean? Anything more than just this kind of like online easy relationship. And so we built it around that idea, which I think is still, you can still do that. You can still kind of remain anonymous if you want to.
Well said. Now, you recruited Madeline Petch and Jacob Scipio for your film. Tell us about the casting process and why they were perfect in this film.
Yeah, Madeline has such a huge international following from her work on Riverdale. You know, right now the film is doing really well all over the world. Like people love Madeline Petch. And I think having her step into a role that they've never seen her in, you know, she's not done anything like this before. So it was exciting to bring her on board, and she was really enthusiastic about learning how to work on cars, which was exciting to see her do. And Jacob, honestly, he was one of like the last people to get brought on to read for Beau. And the very first time I got online with him, I was already in the UK when we first met. It was just like he is Beau. Like the way that he approached the role was so different and so personal compared to everybody else that it was just like made for him. So it was really fun to see him again. I mean, he's really only been in films where he's holding like an AK-47. So he's, really got to kind of spread his wings, and he's really funny. He's really warm. And I think he was a great leading man.
So, truth be told, you had to kind of teach these actors a little bit about car mechanics, right?
Yes, obviously. And nobody came in like, already a mechanic, but we had a great team teach everybody the basics, and everybody really went into it. Katie O'Brien learned, Madeline, Jacob, everybody was under the hood. We had a female mechanic in the UK also that you can see. She's one of the O'Malley's mechanics. So she's on screen, but she also worked a lot with us behind the scenes, which was fun.
So, when you were writing the script itself, did you have to re-educate yourself, or you were always a car girl?
My writing partner, Aaron, her husband is a car guy. So Louis came in and he actually plays the French Bronco buyer in the film. But he came in and really helped us with all of the car, lingo. And then after we sold the script to Amazon and when we were in production, we had somebody else come in and really make sure that like everything that we were saying was accurate because I can't write that.
On the production side, tell us about setting this up in the Bay Area and how you redesigned the production sets for to fit your narrative.
I live in California now. I'm from St. Louis, but I love California so much, and I have a real affinity for Northern California. Like if anybody has been to Big Sur or driven on the PCH, just it's a road trip dream. So in doing a movie that involved cars and road trips, I was like, this has got to be where we are. And I think again, like You Got Mail was set in New York and was such an iconic New York film. We don't see a lot of films happening up in the Bay Area. So it was really exciting to put the film there, and we built almost everything you see in Leeds, UK. The exteriors, we spent about a week in the Bay Area. We shut down PCH for the road scenes you see. But it was not easy to work with a British crew and a British production designer, and really like trying to make sure there's a lot of small things that are different between the way they build and do things in the UK and the United States. So it was not easy, but I think it came out great. And I'm really grateful for like the week that we got to spend filming on location.
Now, I have to ask is because one of the most challenging things, and I bet you this was very challenging for your production, is getting the classic cars for to
Yes,
showcase. Tell us how you pulled that off.
barely. We barely pulled it off is the answer for you. I mean, so again, filming the majority of this in the UK, where like had we filmed all of this in California, there's so many Broncos. There's so many Bronco lovers, but that doesn't translate to Europe. And we had a very difficult time. The Broncos you see on film, I don't even know if I'm supposed to say this, but like they could not run. They were shells of cars. So like the Bronco you see her working on, the one you see him working on, They really did not run. And there's a scene in the film where Beau, has to like pull out of his garage. And I think actually like him actually pulling out didn't even make it into the film because the whole garage filled with smoke. I mean, it was like this car is like this is a health hazard for all of us. And then we had to match the cars when we came over and filmed on location. Um, and sorry, I don't know how to turn that off. But anyway, so it was much easier when we got here to find cars to really drive on PCH. We found a great Mustang for Charlie. We found Beau's Bronco, but what we could not find was Marge, So it was like she didn't sell Marge, but Marge didn't make it into the final scene because, that is a real rare car and it was too difficult for us to find.
Well, you know what? For people who watch it, they can't tell, so
I
that's
don't
what
even know if
actually
I'm
counts.
supposed to be telling you this gig. I'm laying out all the secrets.
There we go. Now, what was your technique to develop the chemistry between Madeline and Jacob on here as a director?
That's a good question because I feel like, their first chem read, I had seen Madeline do chem reads with a couple other actors, and she just immediately reacted different to Jacob. Like the way Jacob enters the scene and took on Beau, it was just the chemistry was really natural for the two of them. And then when we were on set, we spent a lot of time together working on cars together. We just had a lot of fun and tried to make the set really light and easy. So I think that for them, they had a real just natural chemistry that I think is what you see on screen. And they both did a great job, and I think they played well off of each other.
Natural chemistry is always the best
It's
chemistry, that's
the
for
best.
sure.
It's the best chemistry. Yes. Yeah.
And Lacey, this being your first narrative feature, how was that overall experience with you?
It was amazing. I mean, what a gift, what a blessing. I feel like it happened very quickly. I wrote the film to Chris. I don't know. I wrote the film. Let me give me a second. You can edit all this out. I think I wrote the film at the beginning of 2024. And within 2 months, we sold it to Amazon. And then within like 5 months, we were in prep. And I was pregnant while filming. So not only was this my first film, but we wrapped and I was almost 8 months pregnant with my third child. And it was just crazy. All the timing worked out. I feel like it's such a fun story. I think it's the story that the world needs right now. We all could use some nice levity, and also something that's empowering for women as well. So it just feels great. I'm so proud and, just really grateful. I loved my Amazon team and taking a chance on me like this. Nobody could believe that it happened. Like all my friends in Hollywood that are big wigs, like nobody could believe it. They were just like, this doesn't happen. Like I heard that all the time. And, it did happen to me and I'm really grateful. And I can't wait for the next one.
I was going to say, it sounds like you struck oil and gold with something like this. So, are you already in your head the process for your next one being back in the director's chair or in the writer's room?
Yeah. So I've written a few scripts. I'm in development on a few and really excited to, take everything I learned from this project and put it into the next one.
That is terrific. Well, Lacey, that's all the time I actually have with you, but people will have a chance right now to watch Maintenance
Please.
Required on Prime Video and check out because you know what? This is such an adorable
Oh,
feel-good movie.
thanks, Gig.
So everyone needs to watch it.
Thank you, Gig. Yes, go watch Maintenance Required, and I hope you have fun and enjoy the road trip.
All right. Thank you very much. Next time,
Bye.
Lacey. Bye now.